Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to the Hardcore Podcast. This is episode 53, and I'm your host, Christopher Norwood.
And I'm your host, Robert Melton. Also, the start of season 2.
Oh, dang. Yes, this is the start of season 2.
Yeah.
So episode 53, but season 2, episode 1?
Yeah.
Just episode 53. So today we are continuing the next part in our Pokemon lore series.
Yes.
So today we are discussing the lore of Kanto. In previous episodes, we've discussed the origin of Pokemon. After that, we went into the Hisui region because that's some of game-wise the earliest history we have of Pokemon. So now that leads into Kanto, where most people started their love of the franchise.
Yeah, we call those Gen 1ers.
Gen 1ers. I'm not a Gen 1er, but I do love a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, I'll admit.
Of course. OG.
So without further ado,
here we go.
Let's get into it. Pika Pika. All right, so Pokemon Gen 1 lore, Kanto. So first off, we're going to start with a quick gist of the history, story, and plot of Kanto and the Gen 1 games, which include red, blue, green, yellow, fire red, leaf green, let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. There's so many. Those are the games we're going to be mainly referencing. Mainly, I would say red, blue, yellow. Green was kind of Japanese exclusive,
yes.
Right? So, the Kanto region is where Gen 1 takes place and is located east of Johto, which together form a joint landmass that is south of Sinnoh. Sinnoh being Gen 4, we discussed that in the Hisui episode. It is based on the actual Kanto region of Japan, the location of Tokyo, and home to a third of the country's population. Unlike later regions, Kanto does not have a history or mythology that ties in directly to the legendary Pokemon found within its borders. Instead, Kanto has a close connection to Satoshi Tajiri, creator of Pokemon and president of Game Freak. Pallet Town, for example, our starting off point in Gen 1 games, is partially based on Tajiri's hometown Machida, a western Tokyo suburb. In a 1999 Time interview, Tajiri explained that as a child in the 1960s, he enjoyed his youth exploring the countryside and collecting bugs. Then, Japan's post-war economic miracle occurred, allowing for an explosion of mass urbanization across the country. Tajiri watched as his rural playground was cut down and paved over, transformed to become part of Tokyo's growing urban sprawl. Tajiri appears to have immortalized his childhood memories within Pokemon. Kanto is inspired by the pre-urbanization of Tajiri's youth, with the towns and cities interconnected by forests and wooded paths. The entire premise of Pokemon involves playing as children in a glorified bug hunt. It is how we once saw the world as children, and one that allows us to return to simpler times. From some of our previous episodes, we discussed the origin of Pokemon by going through some of our earliest history of the Pokemon universe. For many, Kanto is where the love of the franchise started, as this is where Ash's adventure begins in the series and where the first games take place. Kanto is a region filled with culture and has a rich history of creating Pokemon with technology, as many researchers have had great success in creating life in Kanto in the form of Pokemon such as Mewtwo and Porygon, but we will get more into that within the future. The Kanto region is also filled with forests, rivers, mountains, and seas, along with small towns and cities, all named after colors, other than the town where our character starts his journey, that being Pallet Town, which is named after a pallet, which is used to lay and mix color. But first, must start blank and new.
How about that?
How about that? Pretty cool, right?
It is actually really
It's
cool.
like, if you think of a palette, it is, it has to start blank and new, and the colors could be represented by the gym badges.
Yeah.
That then kind of make up, or I guess you could say the cities, Well, no, that wouldn't really make sense. It'd probably be the gym badges that kind of make up those colors and the palette. So pretty neat what they did there with like the colors and stuff.
Kind of genius.
It is actually pretty
So,
genius.
this is the start. Well, the start of Pokemon, but I wouldn't say the start of like the timeline and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, at this point,
This is the birth of Pokemon.
Yeah, it was definitely the birth of
Genesis.
Pokemon. I don't think they had like the history all planned out.
No, they were just like, let's see how this does.
Yeah, pretty much. Like this is almost like a pilot for the series.
Yeah. Which is nuts. I don't think they had a thought in their mind that this would be as big as it is.
There's no way. There's
The
no way.
biggest
You're like, this is
grossing,
going to be
highest
the biggest
grossing.
grossing like franchise of all time. Yeah,
Fucking
there's
insane.
no way.
All right. So here's a quick gist of the game if you aren't familiar. You play as Red or Leaf. If you aren't familiar with Leaf, she is the female counterpart to Red and was introduced in Fire Red and Leaf Green, the Kanto remix. And you are given a Pokemon by Professor Oak for personal safety. Professor Oak also gives his grandson, Blue, another main character, a Pokemon, and asks Blue and Red to help him fill the Pokédex, which acts as a complete digital encyclopedia on Pokemon. Thus, the journey of Red begins. Red travels across the Kanto region, exploring all types of terrain, collecting mini Pokemon, building strong bonds with them, and inevitably
That's a hard word for me too.
collects all 8 gym badges by defeating the respective city gym leaders. During his journey, Red comes across Team Rocket, an evil organization behind the theft and illegal profit of Pokemon. Red stops Team Rocket and defeats Giovanni, their boss, who secretly happens to also be the last gym leader, who then disbands Team Rocket. In the meantime, Blue, who also has collected all of the Kanto gym badges, defeats the Elite Four at the Indigo League and becomes the champion of the Kanto region. Finally, Red also reaches the Indigo League, defeats the Elite Four, and bests Blue one last time to gain the title of new Indigo League champion. So, that was a very general gist, but a lot going on there in between the lines. We have protagonist, antagonist, and important characters introduced such as Red, Professor Oak, Blue, Team Rocket, the gym leaders, and the Elite Four, all of which make up the main roles that most Pokemon games include. The main character, the professor, the rival, the team baddies, the gym, and the Elite Four. Gym leaders. Gym and gym leaders. So let's break down these generation-defining characters.
Pun intended, right?
Pretty much.
Generation defining. Gen 1. Get it?
Love that. So first, we are going to start with the Allfather.
Yeah, seriously. At the time, this was like literally like the father of Pokemon.
Yeah. So none other than Professor Oak. Even if you aren't into Pokemon, you've definitely heard of Professor Oak.
Yeah, I would say everyone.
I'd say there's a very large part of the population that even if you don't play Pokemon now, you've probably played Red, Blue, or Yellow, and Green if you're in Japan.
Well, the thing is, like, everyone knows Pikachu.
100%.
Everyone knows Ash.
Yes.
Right? And Professor Oak is like right there up there with them,
Yeah.
just being such an iconic character.
I'm Professor Oak.
He doesn't sound like that.
I'm Professor Oak. That's
Ash
honestly
is
better.
your mother home.
Where's that Mr. Mime?
Mr. Mime's fucking side-eyeing, sweeping up the floor.
Oh, God. All right, so Professor Oak. Professor Oak is Blue's grandfather and works in his laboratory in Pallet Town with his aides.
Yes. Oh, dude.
No, he doesn't have
as
aides.
As I typed that, I was like, all right, make this joke here.
He has aides?
He has AIDS.
He got it from his own lab?
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh.
He works in Pallet Town with his aides.
I mean, yes. Yes.
He
Who
is-
help him in the laboratory.
Yeah. He is the one who gave Red and Blue their starter Pokemon and is an idol to many trainers and researchers due to his critical role in the research of Pokemon and the creation of the modern-day Pokédex. Professor Oak's trusted Pokemon partner is Nidorino, which we have a cool bit of information on we will get back to later. Professor Oak is an iconic character in the franchise.
Yeah, so these are just like the talking points.
Yeah.
So again, like we said, he is just such an iconic character, and this is where like all of that started. Even, previous to the anime, because these games were released in Japan especially first. We got the anime a year later.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel like in pretty much every Pokemon game, he's been referenced.
Oh, really?
I feel like that.
Yeah.
Just from what I've played in the Pokemon games, there's at least a reference to him.
So when I was finding this information, like, again, this was the first game, so it shows us that, like, he is the creator of the Pokédex.
Yeah.
But I kind of edited a little bit to say modern-day Pokédex. Because, again, in our last episode, when we went over the Hisuian region, which, takes place hundreds of years before this, you have Professor Laventon, who is actually working on, I don't even know if he really calls it the Pokédex at the time, because it's just like a journal.
It's a journal, yeah.
But it's like that encyclopedia of the Pokemon. So that would have been like kind of the birth of it. But whereas, Mr. Oak, Professor Oak, Dr. Oak,
Mr. Oak,
has created the modern day digital machinery Pokédex.
Yeah, obviously they didn't have the
technology
back then, or else that's what he would have done to easily translate.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
All that information over. Because, the fucking Pokédex, if you ever watch the anime, you can literally just fucking scan it. Like, it's equivalent to, like, our now, like Google. If you use Google Images, you can literally just take a picture of something and it'll show up on your fucking phone.
Well, one thing that's pretty cool, I was going to bring this up a little later, but here's a good segue for it. I started watching Pokemon Origins.
Yeah.
Which acts as like it's like a 4-episode miniseries, but they're like, normal episode length. They're like 20 to 30 minutes, but it goes over this story, the story of the games.
Yeah.
And it does a pretty good job. Like, obviously, it's skipping some things here and there because there's a lot going on. It's kind of hard to get all of it within 4 episodes. But it goes over the Pokédex very briefly when Red tries to catch early on a Rattata, and he doesn't catch it, so he checks his Pokédex, and it doesn't log that information in. When he caught the Pokemon, it automatically kind of logged it in.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess a little differently than what we, first see in the anime.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really.
Thought that was kind of cool. A different take on it. Almost.
Yeah, I haven't done too much research on like the technology behind Pokeballs, but I feel like there's something maybe like synced.
Oh, it would have to be.
Yeah.
Like if you're thinking this little ball is like a home and has like a habitat in there for these Pokemon, like it should at least be able to like sync to this.
Yeah,
Pokédex.
As we know in Hisui, they're just wood. They're made out of wood.
Yeah, exactly.
With like an iron buckle or something.
I wonder what the hell that was like for them.
Hell,
just
even
the
in
Pokemon themselves.
Getting a little ahead of myself, but even in Gen 2, there's Kurt who makes the Pokeballs, but he makes specialty Pokeballs for specific types of Pokemon, but he uses apricorns.
Oh, he uses? Because that's what they used in
yes. Yeah,
Hisui.
Yeah, it's referenced, I believe. I think there's like an ancestor of Kurt in Hisui.
Shit. Oh, damn, that's really cool.
Who, like, I guess, along that lineage, kept that going.
Right. No, that's pretty neat.
Kurt
it's kind of a cool callback that they did with the Legends Arceus game.
Yep.
Keeping it as the apricorns. But yeah, no. Professor Oak, super iconic, and honestly, he is the reason behind this driving force, the purpose of these games. Because we have, obviously, when you think Pokemon, you think, all right, I'm gonna get the gym badges, I'm gonna beat the Elite Four, but those organically kind of come after the driving force of I'm going to catch all the Pokemon and complete this Pokédex, because that's what like the purpose of the game is.
Yeah, Pokemon got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all.
It's in the slogan.
They go hand in hand. And again, that is Professor Oak driving that. Like, he is the one who's like, hey, here's your mission. This is what you got to do.
That's my motto.
So big character, very iconic. So that leads us to our main characters. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Professor Oak?
Daddy.
Yeah, Silver Fox, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
So that leads us to our main character. Again, we had referenced Red and Leaf, but from here on, we're just going to go with Red, because most of the time when you think Gen 1 games, most people are referencing Red as that main character.
Yes.
So Red is the player character in the Generation 1 games and is introduced as a curious 11-year-old boy from Pallet Town. According to the instruction manuals of Red, Green, and Blue, Red gained an interest in Pokemon after his best friend Blue stopped playing with him and became a bully. Although in the games, Professor Oak says the two have been rivals since infancy. He is later known throughout the Pokemon world as the champion from Pallet Town, as well as a living legend for his defeat of Team Rocket and Kanto during his quest. So, again, there's like a big jump there. You know, it's from the start, but then he's eventually known as like this living legend, which we'll get into in a second. But going back to Pokemon Origins, one thing I really thought was cool, because when you play the Pokemon, like the Gen 1 games, obviously the older games were a little harder than the games now, but if you know what you're doing with like grinding and like farming for experience and stuff, like it's still not like a hard game, you know? And you may go through the game not really losing much, maybe catching most Pokemon. So you're like, oh man, Red is just automatically a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the perspective we see playing the games. But Origins kind of gives him a more like humble beginning. It shows that it takes a little while for him to grasp that you have to have a bond with your Pokemon. There's a relationship there. It's not just the Pokemon battling, like it's kind of connected. There's a connection there.
Yeah.
You have to understand the move types, the Pokemon types. Again, just that bond. And it shows Red getting embarrassingly beaten by Blue, and he gets humbled just because he doesn't have that understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was cool, because, again, when you play the games, you're like, oh, man, from the get-go, like, I get this. I'm a badass. But Origins has that different perspective that he becomes this living legend, but he didn't start off like just like an Einstein at it, you know? Like he wasn't just like a straight up pro. He had to put the work in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The games were definitely more like black and white. But one thing that's cool that the Origins kind of made me think about is, especially when we played this as kids, like you kind of have your imagination to like fill in those lines, you know, like as a kid, you're not just like playing it and being like, oh, I beat him. You're really getting into it. You're like visualizing these Pokemons. You're visualizing yourself throwing out these Pokemons. Oh man, I lost. He beat me. I need to connect with my Pokemon more. Whereas like if we were to go back to the games now, we kind of don't have that, but it's kind of cool with
I
that.
remember, especially in Yellow, you start off with a fucking Pikachu, dude. The first gym leader is Brock.
Yeah.
Who has ground and rock types. You get stomped with a Pikachu. So you have to grind up like, I don't know, some bug Pokemon, maybe a Nidoran, and get something that can like take those out. So you're like, in Pokemon Yellow, you got to grind right before that gym.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not trying to say that the games are easy by any means, because again, in comparison, they're definitely harder than the modern games.
Yeah.
But like if you know what you're doing, like if we go back to the OG games, Gen 1, you know, we know what we're doing. We know what we have to do. You know, it's not going to be like really hard for us.
Definitely.
So with that being said, talking about like starting the humble beginnings, but then becoming this legend, let me put it into perspective here. So getting a little ahead of myself here, but this character makes such an incredible name for himself and literally becomes the top Pokemon badass. Like, even throughout the games now, like, I would say Red is still looked at as that, like, top trainer.
Oh, yeah.
And he's seen throughout all the games. So, for example, he is the final opponent in the Generation 2 games, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, their remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, as well as Pokemon Stadium 2. He is a participant in the Pokemon World Tournament's Champions Tournament in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, and works as a boss of the Battle Tree alongside Blue in the Generation 7 games, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. And in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, he appears as the highest level trainer in the game, capable of being challenged after defeating 6 master trainers. So what all that pretty much means in a lot of these things, like the Champions Tournament, the Battle Tree, Battle Tower, Battle League, you see these things throughout the Pokemon games that are pretty much like post-game content, which just allows you to battle more difficult trainers or battle trainers you've beat again.
Yeah.
And they're just usually a little harder. So what all that pretty much is saying that is at a lot of these games, those post-game contents, like Red is that top trainer you have to work your way to.
Yeah.
Like he is, again, the Pokemon badass.
Also, cool thing. Did you play Pokemon Let's Go?
I don't think I beat it. I really, like, doing this research has really made me want to go back to it.
Such a good game.
Honestly,
probably the best Pokemon remake.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's a...
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are really fucking good.
Oh, damn.
Obviously,
that's still a hot take.
But, I mean, it's really good for, like, a Gen 1 remake, though.
Most people are saying that Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
I mean...
Yeah. I think a lot of people say that's the best Pokemon game of all time.
But it's just so pretty. I mean, the catching,
Yeah.
I will say that's kind of lame with the Joy-Cons and shit.
Yeah.
But...
It is a very pretty game, though. I agree.
But what I was going to say is, so it says... you can only fight Red if you've defeated 6 master trainers.
Mm-hmm.
The master trainers, those are trainers that you would have to go to a specific one, and they have one level 100 Pokemon of a specific Pokemon species.
Oh,
so
really?
say you have to go to like a Charizard master trainer. They have a level 100 Charizard. You can only face that with a Charizard, and you have to defeat it.
Really? A Charizard versus Charizard?
Yeah, so your Charizard has to take out that one.
Holy shit.
So if you think about it, those 6 Pokemon that you have trained up to take on that specific Pokemon,
yeah,
that's like getting you ready for this this Red battle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Another thing, like when you hear that, you may be like, wait a second, like I thought they were remakes. I'm fighting Red. Am I fighting myself? I don't know the real story behind it there, but you're not playing as Red in those games.
I assume not, yeah. Because
I forgot the names. I think the male character's name is like Chase or something.
Yeah, because there's also the female counterpart.
Yes.
In that game.
But you pretty much go through the same story.
Yes.
You're just not playing as Red. Why they did that, I'm not too sure.
I'm not positive either, but there is also Mega Evolutions in that game, which is sick.
Yeah. I really want to go back to that one. Like I still need to finish this damn Teal Mask DLC, but I really do want to go back to this game because I remember having some fun with it. Don't know why I dropped it.
Yeah.
That's good. So yeah, that's Red. Again, just another really iconic character. Obviously, if you know Red, if you played the games, if you see Red's art, you can see where Ash's influence comes from.
100%.
He's very inspired by Red. Hell, most Pokemon fans probably don't even know like the difference. I would say most, but I'd say there's a lot out there.
A casual
that
fan
don't know.
will not.
Yeah, sorry.
They'd be
casual
like,
fan.
Like, oh my God. I imagine there's millions of copies of Red, Blue, and Yellow that when you pick your character name, because obviously the default is Red.
Right.
But they'll just name him Ash. You know? I'm sure there's millions of copies out there with Ash as the name.
Another thing in this, like it's not a big deal, right? Like it's if someone thinks that's Ash, like it's whatever.
Yeah.
But since I mess with a lot of like Pokemon cards and I'm in that community, I can't tell you how many times there's a card that has red and a Pikachu, and it's like, ooh, how much for Ash's Pikachu? Because they just think that's Ash. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a better way to put it. Not most fans. That's not fair to say, but I would say casual fans will probably see red and Ash and not know the difference.
Right. All right. So
but yeah, that's red.
That's red, and next we have blue. Blue Oak, or Gary from the anime.
Blue Oak. That's a terrible name.
I know. But yeah, he resembles Gary from the anime, if you have seen the anime. So Blue, he acts as the rival to the protagonist, Red, and also appears in multiple other games involving the Kanto region. Pretty much every one that Chris named with Red. He was named after the Pokemon Blue version and Green in Japan's exclusive Green version, but is mainly known as Blue. In the Japanese version, Blue and his sister Daisy are only referred by their given name, and it is not known if they have the surname of their grandfather, Professor Oak. However, in the English version, Blue's sister is named Daisy Oak, therefore he would be known as Blue Oak as well. And here's some interesting information on Blue. He is also known by a placeholder name, some placeholder names, which are stored in the game's data, but not available in normal gameplay. The most interesting being Sony. Reason being, Sony is a reference to the fact that in the years surrounding the release of Gen 1 games, Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow in the late 90s, Sony was Nintendo's primary competition, while the placeholder name for Red was Ninten, for like Nintendo.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was some interesting lore.
Microsoft's like, what? Wait a sec. What? They weren't in the game at the time, but
Yeah.
that's just funny.
All right.
Sega's like, what the fuck? We're still here.
Honestly, they were on the way out, let's be honest.
Yeah. Nintendo knew it.
Yeah. All right, so Blue's story. If you're familiar with Blue or Gary, you know that he's one cocky motherfucker and somewhat unfriendly, throwing out "smell you later" on a regular basis. Even though Red and Blue were childhood friends growing up in Pallet Town. Just like Red, he also picks a Pokemon given to him by Professor Oak and will always choose the opposing type to Red after he's picked, unless it's yellow version. In this case, he'll just get Eevee, which is kind of sick. Honestly, probably the better starter of all of those. You get a lot of cool shit from an Eevee, especially in later games.
You do, but I'm thinking like long game. If it's like, do you want an Evolution or do you want to Raichu? I'm going to go Raichu, if I'm being honest.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Charizard in my case. Anyway.
Of course. Typical.
Blue's Pokemon team isn't consistent with any particular types, as he carries varying Pokemon such as one of the 3 starters, or an Eevee, along with a combination of Pidgeot, Alakazam, Rhydon, Gyarados, Exeggutor, Arcanine, Sandslash, Ninetales, Magneton, and Cloyster. So there's a lot of variation there between the red, blue, and yellow games.
But hey, there's some solid Pokemon there.
Yes,
yeah,
they're
very solid.
They make him a worthy opponent, I'd say. In arrogant fashion, his main goal is to become the greatest trainer alive. And with that being the case, he gets a lot of satisfaction for being one step ahead of Red throughout the journey in Kanto, eventually leading to him defeating all the gyms, the Elite Four, and thus becoming the Indigo League champion. Until he's soon thwarted by Red and losing that position. After Blue wins the title of Indigo League champion, Professor Oak makes his way there to congratulate him, but gets there after Red defeats Blue and tells Blue he didn't know how to care for Pokemon, which he commends Red for. So, damn. Red does get there at the end.
Yes, he does. So, when you read that, I picture like Professor Oak hearing of like Blue becoming the champion. He's like, let me make my way there. Congratulate my grandson. And by the time he gets there, Red's already like beat his ass.
That's exactly what happens.
The champion.
Yep.
And he's like, y'all are pretty neck and neck, but
that's my boy.
But
and not my grandson.
You don't know how to care for your Pokemon, whereas Red does.
Yep, you done fucked up. A cool side note, In the Gen 2 games, along with their remakes and in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Blue takes over Viridian City Gym, whose past occupant was Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Because
super cool.
I don't think I mentioned it, or we mentioned it at all yet, if we even do. But after you beat Blue, you can challenge the Elite Four all over again, and he does take up that spot as the leader again, I guess as a placeholder. But I feel like that's just like a way to have the continuation of the game.
Yeah, just again, that's like an early example of just that post game.
Yeah.
Whereas in other games, they have, again, like the Battle Tower or the Battle League or the Battle Island, the Battle Tree, whatever it may be.
Yeah, so just a little cool fact there.
Just for you to get base game, even without that, Pokemon, you're already getting your money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was one of, like, the earliest games like that in Final Fantasy where you're like, all right, these are the games you get your money's worth right here.
Dude, seriously.
You can put hundreds of hours into these games.
Honestly.
But with that, they're just giving you even more. So, hell yeah. Here for it. So, we went over Professor Oak, who is our professor in this gen. We went over the main character, Red, the rival Blue. So, now that leads us to the gym leaders.
Oh.
And that first gym leader, like you had said, being Brock. Iconic character.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Brock is the gym leader of the Pewter Gym, which is the first gym that the player challenges on their journey. When defeated, he gives out the Boulder Badge. He is one of the few truly professional Pokemon trainers in the Pewter City area, and many people respect and admire him. He is quite proud of his rock-hard willpower and uses rock-type Pokemon to complement this. Brock is best known for his trusty sidekick and his first Pokemon, Onix, which was gifted to him on his 10th birthday from his father, Flint. Due to his father's pursuit of his own ventures, Brock took on the role of Pewter City's gym leader and became solely responsible for taking care of his 9 siblings. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So when you look at the anime and just Brock's character in the anime, this is probably where his love for like nurturing and taking care of Pokemon stemmed from.
Yeah, because in the anime, it's pretty identical to that. He is taking care of all of his siblings and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And he wants to, he loves taking care of Pokemon, cooking, nurturing, and he wants to become like a Pokemon breeder, I believe.
And also, you mentioned rock hard. That also translates to the anime. He loves women.
He does. He really does. That is so true. Like I had mentioned with Origins and how Red early on got humbled and had to learn that lesson of that bond between your Pokemon and Pokemon types. In Origins, what's cool is Brock is the one that teaches him that. So although Origins it follows the games and we don't really get that part in the game, it was still kind of cool to see that fleshed out a little bit. That Brock is the one who actually kind of helped him learn that lesson through that gym battle.
Oh, that is cool.
And here's an interesting little quick note, little interesting tidbit. So in every game Brock appears in, for every match or rematch that is available, because sometimes when you go through the games, you can fight them, and then there's an option for a rematch, and they'll have different Pokemon. So in every match and rematch that is available, Onix is in his party every single time, except for one time, which is during the rematch in Pokemon Stadium 2, and that's only because he uses a Steelix instead. But what's interesting about that is that happens to be the only time that Steelix appears in his party.
I love that.
Which is just, you would expect to see Steelix a little more. Just because he has Onix in every single battle, you think, are you going to evolve that bitch?
I know. I feel like it is very iconic for Brock to have an Onix.
It is, yeah.
But I feel like him having a Steelix feels like him going Super Saiyan.
And, it does kind of change it a little bit, right? He's no longer a rock-type Pokemon. But you know, I guess in that same vein of like Ash and Pikachu, like he didn't want to evolve his Pikachu. Maybe Brock didn't want to really evolve his Onix. That was his first Pokemon. Like, yeah, I can see that being really special.
Yeah, I do like that they did introduce it in Pokemon Stadium 2, you know, the Gen 2 game. Although it would have been cool if it was also in like Silver, Gold, and Crystal.
Yeah, no. I definitely agree. One thing that's actually cool when you look at all of these characters and just how a lot of these big characters, especially in like the Gen 1 and Gen 2 games, the gym leaders, they show up in the stadium games.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting to see the Pokemon they use because more so than in any other Pokemon game that they appear in Stadium, they have the most diversity in their team in the Stadium games. So you could see, I can't remember Brock's exact team other than Steelix, but he could have a Victory Bell or something that just doesn't make sense for Brock to have, but it's just interesting because when you play through the Stadium games, you may think, oh, I'm going against Brock, let me have this team.
Yep.
But no, he's going to have like this diverse, you know, cast of Pokemon.
Very true.
And going back to how his father had gifted him an Onix and then eventually left to pursue his own ventures, that kind of begs a question. So one thing we see countless times in Pokemon are younger people given so much responsibility to take care of things adults normally would, or are given freedom kids normally wouldn't possess, such as being able to travel around the region as a 10 to 12-year-old with only the Pokemon at your side, which we see in every single game. So again, this begs the question of the culture in the Pokemon universe, because I feel like that's something you kind of don't really think about. I feel like it's easy just to jump to, well, I guess every parent in Pokemon is just really shitty. But maybe it's just like a completely different culture, you know? Are Pokemon themselves held in such a high regard that once friended, adults feel safe leaving their kids with them to deal with these responsibilities and to venture on their own? It seems like that's a logical explanation because we see it all the time.
So we have a bit of a thing coming up past Lieutenant Surge about Pokemon War, but I have a theory now that maybe since they send them out so early, they just die young because all these Pokemon are ravaging their bodies.
Maybe.
So they just don't make it to an old age because they just die out on them.
They're just like, YOLO.
Yeah.
And the old people in the games are the ones that are like, fuck Pokemon.
Pretty much.
They never dealt with it. Kidding, of course. But, I mean, even getting a little ahead of ourselves, we are going to talk about the war, but, I mean, you can kind of probably put together what we're going to say there. The gist of these people fought with Pokemons in wars, using Pokemons as weapons.
Yeah.
So just parents knowing that, like, yeah, there's probably a sense of safety. Knowing, like, hey, my kid is young, but he's got these Pokemon to protect him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel okay letting him kind of leave and do his own thing, go on his own adventure.
Although, if you got a fucking, like, Rattata or something, like, bro.
Yeah.
You're dead.
I mean, if I'm a father, I'm thinking, can you catch something else? First off. Yeah. Like, is there any other Pokemon around here maybe you can catch?
I mean, luckily, little Joey sticks to Route 1. Because if he ventured anywhere past that, he'd be slaughtered.
I mean, I'm even thinking, like, hey, on the tree, there's plenty of Pidgey out there.
Honestly.
Like, work up to a Pidgeot, but there's plenty of Pidgey.
Those Pidgey are going to eat that Rattata alive.
I mean, I'm also thinking, like, hey, you know, hang around the house, at least evolve into Eradicate, you know? Yeah. Then maybe you can go on your own.
Yeah, get that Hyper Fang. Come on.
Yeah, exactly, something. But yeah, you need a little bit more, little Jimmy. Stick to Route 1. But yeah, that was Brock. And again, yeah, it's just interesting to think about like the Pokemon culture there, because like, we see it here with Brock and his father leaving. We see it in the games. We see it in this game. As like his mother just kind of lets him go and do his own thing, as we see that in every Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. So again, very iconic character, and just as iconic, if not more iconic, we got Misty. Ooh-hoo-hoo. So we now have our Boulder badge. We're kicking ass. We got our Boulder badge, 1 gym down, 7 to go. But that's not my focus. I'm trying to fill the Pokedex. So we're catching a bunch of Pokemon along the way.
Yeah.
We are red in this episode. We are going on this adventure.
Yes.
So Misty is the gym leader of the Cerulean Gym, which is the second gym the player challenges on their journey. And when defeated, she gives out the Cascade badge. Her strategy is an all-out attack with water-type Pokemon, and being a swimmer herself, training at the Seafoam Islands, she is constantly looking for ways to improve her techniques. She admires Lorelei of the Elite Four and aspires to be a water-type Pokemon master. One day, when she becomes stronger, she hopes to travel the world, and with Starmie by her side, she feels unstoppable. Starmie being her partner Pokemon. One thing that's actually pretty neat is, speaking of Starmie, in the 16 games that in the 16 Pokemon games that Misty appears in, and this includes all the remakes of the gens. Obviously, there's not like 16 gens, but like all, so like Gen 2, that would be 3 games right there.
Yeah.
You know, in all the 16 Pokemon games that Misty appears in, Starmie is always a part of her party.
That's
I'm
really
talking
cool.
Stadium. I'm talking when she appears in Let's Go Pikachu, Eevee, Sun and Moon. Obviously, it's a long list. There's 16 games.
Yeah.
But in every single one of them, for every match, for every rematch, Starmie is in her party.
Yeah.
I just think that's sick.
And if you're just a fan of like the anime, you're probably like, what? Why isn't it not Togepi or Psyduck?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yep.
But honestly, they suck compared to her Starmie.
Dude. Starmie in general. Let's be real. I love that. Speaking of the anime, in the Pokemon anime, Misty is a girl who can be sweet and optimistic at times, but is best known for her vocal frustration and seething anger. She is very extreme in most of her moods, and she abruptly switches between her emotions. However, as time went on, Misty mellowed, and her hyperactive personality was reduced significantly by the end of the original series.
So how do you just lose being bipolar? She was cured?
Yeah, I guess from the love of Pokemon and friendship. We're getting into Digimon a little bit there.
Literally.
Friendship, courage. So in those 2 bear crafts, we're talking about the games, and then we bring up the animes.
Yeah.
So that brings me to a quick note. Anime and games, are they in the same canon? Let's see. So, the way that I see it, and the way that it just be sometimes. So, nowadays, the different canons of Pokemon and which canons are a part of one another can be very convoluted, mainly coming down to fan theories and some officially being in different multiverses or universes, however you want to say that. But back then, because you got to think, back when this came out, all we had was the Pokemon Gen 1 games and then the anime following a year later. In my opinion, although it doesn't tell the exact same story, I think the 2 mediums work hand in hand to flesh each other out, especially back in the day when there weren't as many contradictions between the 2. The anime does change things from time to time, like Lorelei's name to Prima. But I like to imagine these fleshed out characters shown in the series have the same quirks, goals, and personality traits as their respective characters in the games. Hell, even mediums like the trading card games have their own story to tell, since certain vintage sets, for example, have cards labeled Misty's Poliwrath or Misty's Cloyster, which aren't Pokemon that Misty has in any game or in the anime. So maybe even cards have their own canon.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. But again, mainly what I was hitting there is, especially as Pokemon went on, you find where in the anime and in the games, these things definitely contradict each other. So it's all right, so these have to be like multiverses, right? But again, back in the day, we had these games released. So your first introduction to these characters. Then a year later, you had the anime. So you're thinking this is like the same universe. Again, there's things that kind of contradict each other, like Lorelei's name. But still, like, I think these 2 mediums, like, just flesh out one another. Like,
Yeah.
I think the same personality traits and goals and values and morals that Misty has in the anime. I mean, if you have that imagination to put that into Misty in the game, like, I don't see anything wrong with that.
And I'll give you one example why Red is not Ash.
Okay.
Ash didn't win a Pokemon League championship until like a couple years ago.
That is true. That is very true.
Pokemon's like 26, 27 years old now.
Yeah. So,
And Red, he don't fucking lose, bro.
dude, I mean, again, we see in Origins, he lost to Blue, but after that, he started whipping ass.
Yeah.
He took 1 L, and he was like, that didn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
That didn't feel good. Fucking Blue, of all people, beat me?
Yeah.
Fucking cocky motherfucker.
Oh, God. Smell you later.
Smell you later. Yeah, it took one smell you later, and Red was like, I'm about to brush that one off.
Yep.
But yeah, Ash is ass. Ash is
Facts.
ass. Yeah, Red is the man. Red is where it's at. That's why, again, you see Red is that Pokemon badass. Like, no one thinks Pokemon badass. Oh, Ash? You mean Ash?
Ass catch him.
So, we now have our Cascade badge. No, Cascade badge, our second badge. We have our second badge. We just wiped the floor with Misty. Also, I want to say, like, come on. When we were kids, we were all crushing on Misty, right? Like, that was our first crush, right? Maybe not first, but that was a very early crush for us. For us 90 kids, I'll say.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, she was my crush until you meet Sabrina.
I mean, yeah, Sabrina's a babe. And if you're still crushing on Misty, grow up.
Oh, my God. You
Grow
pedophile.
Grow up. She's a child.
You sick fuck.
I seen, it's funny because, you know, you can obviously make the argument that, you know, they've been the same age for like ever. So it's like not fair, you know? Like,
Yeah. Actually,
like Missy would be in her like 30s or something,
Yeah.
or late 20s, whatever it may be. But I had seen that someone had did a tattoo. Someone had got a tattoo,
oh no.
and it was of Misty,
Oh no.
but making out with.
Oh, no.
No, making out with Jessie from Team Rocket. And it's like, oh, okay. But then you think about it, it's like, wait, these are two like 15, 16-year-olds you have tattooed on you.
Yeah.
But again, you can make the argument like, hey, it's not really fair. Ash has been 13, 14, 15 for 20 plus years.
And that is true, by the way. If you didn't know, Jesse and James are very young also.
Yes.
They appear to be older, but are not.
Which is a very common theme and trope in anime in general.
And there is a
And you
band,
see the reverse of that.
Yeah, but there is a band episode
Lolies.
where Jesse and James are in like bikinis.
Oh, isn't there an episode where James has like
Yes.
tits and shit?
Yeah.
Dude, Pokemon was wild, I will say.
Yeah.
Pokemon was wild. There is actually an episode how I mentioned Lorelai in the anime being changed to Prima.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Lorelai's a fucking... She's a babe.
Of age, by the way. And also,
She definitely is.
while doing the research on here, if you look by the remakes, they do get older as the remakes go on. So they are
there like a 2 or 3 year
yeah, there's
gap?
like gaps.
Okay.
So
I wonder where that would in the game canon put them at. In like some of the last games they've appeared in. Like where would that put them at?
It's a good question.
You know, all those guys, we're sweating, we're wondering.
Because even then, like everything's so convoluted, I don't think it's like set in stone.
Set in stone. Yeah. Again, that's why you kind of go back to like fan theories.
That's why we are basing like these lore videos on like the most, I guess, intact lore there is.
Right. Because we could release this and we can be quoting like good resources, like good sites and stuff.
Yeah.
But someone could comment and be like, well, actually.
Listen here,
and
motherfucker.
then someone could comment and be like, well, actually, to that last guy.
Yeah.
So it's like
in Pokemon Let's Go and Eevee,
yeah, there's so much to it. It's very convoluted, and there's just really nothing like super set in stone. So
yeah,
take a chill pill, guy. Like it's all good.
We're talking about a game that was like a fucking trial here.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So again, we have our Cascade badge. We've just whooped Misty's ass. That leads us to the Surge Meister.
Whoa.
The Lightning Lieutenant. So, Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge is known as the Lightning Lieutenant and is the gym leader of Vermilion City's gym. He hands out the Thunder Badge to trainers who defeat him in battle and specializes in electric-type Pokemon, with Raichu being his faithful partner Pokemon. Hey! Raichu's dope. Alolan Raichu is dope.
It's all right.
Just kidding. So, where electric type Pokemon with Raichu being his faithful partner Pokemon. Apparently, he is or was an American soldier who fought in at least one war during which electric type Pokemon saved his life and aided him in combat.
He definitely looks very American.
Yeah.
They're like, let's make an American motherfucker.
Right. At least they didn't go the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh route. With
I know.
Where it's like American flag, bandana, beard,
Sunglasses.
sunshades. It's like, yeah, typical American. They all look like that.
Let's put some Oakleys on them.
Yeah, on backwards.
Yeah.
So, as a member of the Army, Surge was a strict CO and was rather cautious. So that translated to him being a little paranoid. And in Lieutenant Surge's gym, he installed a series of traps and takes a liking to trainers with lots of guts. So, quick note, unevolved advantages. So we see this in the anime. So in the anime, Lieutenant Surge manages to defeat Ash the first time, and Pikachu once with pure power. But with their rematch, Pikachu was able to use a speed-altering move like agility. He was able to use speed-altering moves like agility, which Raichu couldn't learn to outrun and defeat it. This is one of the earliest examples we see in the franchise with how there can be benefits to not evolving your Pokemon, which became more strategic as the games went on. And again, this is very early on. I don't know if, maybe Raichu can learn agility, but I'm guessing at least back then Raichu was not able to learn agility. So you see the advantage of like not evolving your Pokemon. And I would say this is one of the earliest examples. And again, nowadays you see that much more and how strategic that can be.
Oh yeah.
Is there maybe more that you can talk on
specifically
that?
for Pikachu? There's an item called the Light Ball, I believe.
And that's just for Pikachu. Wow.
And that basically doubles his like attack.
Damn.
So yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
What I want to know is how Ash got his hands on that. Motherfucker been sucking some fucking dick.
Well, in the anime, I think it was the move agility that really
Yeah, I know.
helped him out. But I mean, I don't know. But I just think that was cool that is a theme in competitive Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, similar to like the Everstone.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I couldn't remember what the item was called.
Pikachu, that was like a specific one, but for the, I believe it's the Everstone, that'll power up a Pokemon that's still able to evolve.
Mm-hmm. So pretty cool that we have, one of the earliest examples dealing with Lieutenant Surge in these like early years of Pokemon. And that leads us to a point that we've already kind of made is the Pokemon Wars. So again, in the lore of Lieutenant Surge, he references how an electric-type Pokemon had saved his life and how he used electric-type Pokemon in battle. So that makes us, that like kind of started this like theory that, all right, the Pokemon Wars, like people, like what is this war that he was in, like using Pokemon? Like obviously he couldn't have been the only one. Like Pokemon are so interwoven into like this world. Of course, people were using Pokemon as weapons.
Yeah.
So,
hell,
I'm just gonna. Sorry.
Before that, there's I believe the movie with Lucario in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally scenes of like
yeah.
Tyrannotars walking around in fucking armor, just like thousands of Pokemon and like trainers just in armor and shit. And it's cool as hell.
Well, I think a lot of people like go to that scene to really solidify that argument. But that kind of then trickles into another theory. So let me just start here. There's a running theory about the war that Lieutenant Surge speaks of that blends into the lack of middle-aged men within the games. And we were kind of like joking on that with just like people dying early on because they venture out so young and, Pokemon just get themselves killed or whatever. But that may be this war that Lieutenant Surge fought in is why there is a lack of these characters. Maybe many of them died, mainly leaving the survivors, older people, and the youth, which is pretty much what we see most of the time throughout the games. So, again, that's a theory. There's not a lot of truth to it, but it's still interesting. It's an interesting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I love that when you have like a franchise that isn't as fleshed out as like we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like we almost like want it to be fleshed out as like Star Wars or something.
I know.
Like we start connecting the dots. It's like, all right, well, y'all don't have answers for this, so we're gonna connect the dots and figure this shit out.
Yeah, because we don't have like books. We have like manga series, like the manga on the anime, and then you have the manga. Like there's a couple of different Pokemon mangas, but nothing's like based canon game.
Yeah.
And
now that you mention that, I don't know much of the big one is Pokemon Adventures. Like that's the big Pokemon manga.
And that one's definitely not anywhere near.
No. And I couldn't even tell you what the actual story is, but things are crazy.
Yeah, we got to read that. Honestly, we got to do a fucking episode on that shit.
We do need to do an episode on that. Again, I think I at least have the first volume. I may have the first two. But like you're talking Lieutenant Surge, Agatha, and I think Lance are a part of some team that are trying to like wipe out humanity just for the way that they treat and use Pokemon and shit like that. Like it's like some evil shit that involves like death and like Lorelai, for example, can use ice because she's like an ice type trainer as like voodoo and shit. She can make voodoo dolls out of ice, and it's like, this is crazy.
And Lance is like a good guy in the games.
Exactly.
Like, he's like a savior.
Yeah, he is a good guy. And I'm just like, this is nuts, but pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's, we've said it many times. We want that darkness in a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but we want that death. We want that sadness. So maybe the manga is like what we've been missing this entire time.
For real.
So we now have the Boulder badge, the Cascade badge, and the Thunder badge. We have 3 badges. So I'm going to kick the ball to you.
All right. So we just beat an American badass of sorts.
Yes.
Now we're going
to America's sweetheart? No, not America's, but a sweetheart.
I'll put it like this. Erica is the gym leader of Celadon City's gym.
Celadon.
She hands out the rainbow badge to trainers who defeat her in battle. She is a serene young woman who specializes in grass-type Pokemon. She is always dressed in an elegant kimono and seems to represent traditional Japanese beauty. Erica is ladylike, and a teacher of flower arranging. She is a quiet girl, but she's well known in Celadon City. She only collects Pokemon she considers attractive, though her definition of attractive seems to include varieties only a botanist could love. She also tends to doze off quite a bit, but will become inspired after a good match. So, yes, a beauty of sorts.
So, yes. And I see here, so I didn't do this for the gym leaders I researched, but I see here you have the Pokemon.
I sure do.
That she uses throughout these Gen 1 games, or at least the early installments, like Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. Did you want to go over any?
Yeah, so Red, Blue, and Green, she has a Victory Bell, Tangela, and a Vileplume.
Yo, that's a solid-ass team.
That's a good-ass team.
Like, I ain't mad at that.
And then I guess they went easy mode on Yellow, because she has a Tangela, a Weeping Bell, and a Gloom.
Well, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but Yellow is more based on
it's the anime. Yeah, so she has what she would have in the
anime. That's what I was thinking. So that's probably Ash fought Erica, and these are the Pokemon she had in her party.
So you get pounded on by fucking Brock, and then you get to Erica, and they're like, she's a little girl.
She's probably like, ooh, here's a cute boy. I'm going to go easy on him.
So, check this out.
Check.
Here's an interesting Here's an interesting theory on Erica from Pokemon. In Pokemon Red and Green, they underwent a lot of changes during development, and there's evidence to show that Erica was originally meant to be a ghost-type gym leader. The leaked beta version of Pokemon Red and Green is very interesting as it shows a vastly different version of the Kanto region. One character that the fans suspect has changed during development was Erica, and it's not even suspected. It's like pretty much
Like evident.
yeah, it's very evident. Erica, the grass-type gym leader of Celadon City. There are elements of Erica's design as well as evidence from unused concept art and the leaked beta of Pokemon Red and Green suggesting that she was originally meant to be a ghost-type trainer. The majority of people who played Pokemon Red and Blue in Europe and North America wouldn't have noticed anything off with Erica's design, but there is something strange about it. Erica is wearing a yukata, which is a type of kimono worn in Japan. Traditionally, people who wear their yukata with their left side folded over the right. The exception to this is when bodies are being prepared for a funeral. In those instances, the corpse has their yukata worn with the right side folded over the left. In Pokemon Red and Blue, Erica is wearing her yukata in the dead body style. This was changed in Pokemon Yellow and all subsequent appearances. Erica's concept art is interesting for a couple of reasons. For one, her eyes are open and they have a glassy expression to them. It's easy to presume that she is tossing a Pokeball in the air in her Pokemon Red and Blue sprite, but the concept art suggests that she might be floating it with supernatural powers. Erica is also listed as the 5th gym leader. She's the 4th in the final version of the game. And Lavender Town was listed as the 5th city in the original concept for the game. This evidence suggests that Lavender Town could have had a ghost-type gym leader at one point during development, and that Erica was the ghost-type gym leader was the ghost-type gym leader. I don't know why I wrote it like that. It's easy to imagine the channelers in the Pokemon Tower as the inhabitants of Erica's creepy gym. This raises the question of why Erica had her type switched. One possible reason for this is Agatha of the Elite Four. Agatha originally had a drastically different lineup in the Pokemon Red and Green beta, as her teams consisted of a mix of Evolutions, Tangela, and a Tauros. She didn't become a ghost-type gym leader until later in development. There was a lack of ghost-type Pokemon in Pokemon Red and Blue. The only 3 ghost types in Gen 1 were Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. Meanwhile, there are 14 grass-type or dual grass-type Pokemon, and most of them were fairly common. It's possible that the developers decided to shift the rarer, stronger ghost-type Pokemon to Agatha as she had already matched their creepy design. Erica was then given a grass-type gym in Celadon City. Her corpse outfit was switched to a summer theme, and her gimmick was switched to having a gym full of female trainers. The idea of the gym leader with supernatural powers was also used with Sabrina. It's possible that the gimmick was switched from Erica to Sabrina, as it made more sense for a psychic-type gym leader to possess these abilities.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that, like, the only ghost types in Gen 1 are just that evolution trio.
Yeah. That's it.
Damn, literally it.
I mean, same with, like, Dragonite. He's the only dragon.
Yeah. It makes sense why, like, you know, people are so obsessed with, like, Gengar. Early on, you know, they probably grew up with it, and Gengar being so different, that evolution line being the only ghost type, they're, like, probably clung to that.
Yeah.
Or cling to that. Because, you know, a lot of people, like, Gengar's their favorite. So, I mean, same with Dragonite, too. But, I mean, Dragonite is that fucking guy.
But I did... here, I'll probably put this on the...
Yeah, I see
in post, but yeah, check this, like, image out. Because you can see, she definitely looks like a ghost-type gym leader. And in the Yukata, there's definitely a difference.
Yeah. You definitely see it in this the image, like the art, like the sketch. You can see, like, the line and how she has it folded over that one way a little better. And it definitely, I know it's just sprites, but especially in the original, it definitely looks like that ball is just, like, kind of floating.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time when in early sprites, when they show something being, like, thrown, the object will have a little bit of like curve to it.
Right.
It will be on like an axis.
Yeah, that's
This
definitely.
is just being like straight up.
Yep.
Like no one's just gonna throw it straight up. They would usually kind of add the animation just by having a slight curve to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that ball.
And
was
also, her
definitely originally
hands wouldn't
floating.
be like this, cupping.
Oh yeah.
It would be more of like this.
like this
Yeah.
or something.
There'd be more
Yeah.
detail in that.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, she was originally a ghost type trainer.
Hmm. And what is this other stuff?
What's that?
I see where it says Agatha, Tangela.
Oh, I already described all that. How she had her original team was Tangela, Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon.
Oh, that
And-
was Agatha's original team.
Yes. So she was originally just like a miscellaneous gym leader.
She gets the scrapped Pokemon. She is she nasty. That's an old bitch.
Yep. So now we have the rainbow badge.
Yes, so we have 4 badges. Damn, we're making progress. We should probably
Sheesh.
fucking save.
I know,
We
right?
should probably save.
Fucking this far through the game, we haven't even saved.
Oh my gosh. We may need a new, what was it called, a save battery?
Yeah.
We've already got 200 hours in. What's our Pokedex looking like?
Oof. We gotta have, let's say, 60 Pokemon.
60 Pokemon?
I think so.
Have we already stomped Blue's ass?
Oh, we've stomped
At least
him
twice?
Twice. Yeah.
Twice? Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
Actually, we'll
Bitch.
give him the one win.
Okay, we'll give him 1 win, so that means he'll have a Flareon?
I think so.
Well, in yellow, right?
Yeah.
Man, how is he fucking doing this so quick? He's so ahead of us.
I
Like,
don't
he's
know,
always
man.
one step ahead.
Yeah. He's got
Hmm.
that fucking.
He must not be bonding with his Pokemon.
He's got that advantage.
Professor Oak's going to get him for that.
Yugi boy.
But yes, we have 4 gym badges now. And
All
we
right.
just got the rainbow badge. Nice.
Yes, we did. Just beat a little girl's ass. Sorry.
That's the second girl's ass. we
That's
beat.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now we have Koga. Koga is the leader of Fuchsia City's gym.
Fuchsia.
He's a man with black spiky hair and usually wears a dark ninja outfit along with a red scarf. He is a student of ninjutsu who specializes in poison-type Pokemon. He hands out the Soul Badge to trainers who defeated him in battle. He's known as the Poisonous Ninja Master and likes the despair and horror that poison-type Pokemon can inflict on others. Koga has studied medicine and antidotes. He makes his own potions to heal his Pokemon. He also serves as a teacher for ninjutsu and Pokemon. One of his students is his own daughter, Janine, who takes over his gym in Generations 2 and 4's storyline. In addition to these roles, Koga also patrols the grounds of the Kanto Safari Zone to ensure that players of the Safari game are safe from the wild Pokemon within.
Pause. There's an interesting like contradictions between his character.
What do you mean?
Well, just from what I get from that. So, let's read that. In addition to these roles, Koga also patrols the grounds of the Kanto Safari Zone to ensure that the player of the Safari game are safe from the wild Pokemon within.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh wow, like that's a really nice thing to do on like your off time.
I agree.
And
I
then
caught this too.
He's known as the poisonous ninja master and likes the despair and horror that poison type Pokemon can inflict on others. It's
I
like,
know.
what is going on
I know.
here?
I think it's like it's his shtick. He's got like a shtick when he's like in like battle mode. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, kid.
It's like, this is my persona.
I mean,
I'm a ninja.
Yeah, he gives out the soul badge of all things.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting.
It is funny, but he's just like, I picture him as a like a, what is it called when you're like, a volunteer for the Safari Zone. He's just like, hey, I'm just gonna work for a few hours today.
Well, all right, let's think about it again in like Pokemon lore. We've discussed how Red had to learn to really like connect with this Pokemon. Because it's not just you throwing your Pokemon out and them doing everything. Like there's a connection there.
Yes.
So maybe with Koga, just kind of being more attracted to like poison type Pokemons, when he's in battle, that connection with poison type Pokemon, there's like, because you look at these poison type Pokemon, look at Muck, look at that sprite for Muck, which is badass, by the way. I love that sprite for Muck. Same with Weezing. He looks so derpy and dope. But like, they are, literally like toxic Pokemon. So maybe that connection, he's just like, goes insane a little bit, loses a little bit of sanity. So he's like, I'm the poisonous ninja master, and I like the despair and horror that the poison type Pokemon can inflict on others.
Oh, you gotta have.
There's a connection when we're battling.
It's got to be a Japanese
despair.
accent.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's got some menacing Pokemon for sure.
Jeez, and in the anime, he has 3 Venonats?
I know, right? Ain't that so lame?
What the hell? All right, so Pokemon Red and Blue, Koga has 2 Coughings, which is pretty common in the Red and Blue games. A lot of them will have like 2 of the same, and then kind of save that final evolution for like the last Pokemon. So he has 2 Coughings, which I also like the sprite of those. He has Muck, which again, that is like one of the cooler sprites I've seen, and a Weezing, which is also a dope sprite. And then in yellow, he has Venonat. You beat the Venonat. He throws out another Venonat. You beat the Venonat. He throws out another Venonat. You beat the Venonat. Then he throws out a Venomoth. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. Ash was probably like, what the fuck is this guy's problem?
Yeah. Kind of lame.
I could have swore I just beat this Venonat 3 times.
Oh, man.
But hey, he's really a nice guy, He patrols the Safari Zone, keeps people safe.
Yeah,
he volunteers. He trains his daughter.
Maybe he's just in the Safari Zone looking for more Venonat.
I think I got ahead of myself. Continue, sorry. You have more about Koga. I just wanted to stop you there and just go over that almost like kind of like contradiction in character.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. All right, so Koga's gym is typically the 5th gym to be challenged. Although I did learn this because I've played those games at least 10 times probably.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like variations that like the paths you can take to the gyms, because I've skipped gyms before in that game. So yeah, it's typically the 5th gym.
Oh, okay. I see.
But he has built invisible walls in the Fuchsia City gym, constructing a confusing maze out of them. Koga awaits challengers in the center of the maze, clearly visible. But a group of Koga's students must be fought first. Defeating him will earn the successful trainer, the Soul Badge, and the TM for Toxic. A move which, according to him, is a secret technique that has been passed down through his family for over 400 years.
I wonder if that's like video game canon.
Yeah.
Like every time you see the TM Toxic in any game, just know like, hey, that was a move passed down from generations and generations of like Koga's family, his bloodline and stuff.
As we know, he's good with medicine and antidotes and stuff like that. So maybe he literally made that TM himself.
Maybe. But that is pretty interesting.
So with the future of the gym in his daughter's hands, Koga advances to a role in the Pokemon League of Kanto and Johto before the events of 2 and 4. In these games, he is the 2nd number of the Elite Four to be faced. The team he uses in this role is similar to his gym leader's team. Why am I fucking that up? The main difference is the introduction of Pokemon not native to Kanto. Koga's battle style as the Elite Four member is designed to confound and destroy his opponents in battle rather than using brute force. Koga attempts to confuse, put to sleep, and poison his opponent.
So that last paragraph.
Yeah.
So we're skipping a little bit.
Yes,
here.
that was
what
a
is
little
this
bit
going
of skip.
over? I was a little confused.
So in the remakes, I mainly prefaced that just for like the remakes of the game.
In the remakes of the game, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He will be an Elite Four member versus a gym leader because his daughter would take control of the gym, and he will be then the 2nd Elite Four member.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
So he goes from a number 5 gym leader to
Yeah.
second in command at the Elite Four.
I wish there was like more information on that as to like we see how Brock became a gym leader
Mm-hmm.
because he kind of took the reins from his father when his father had left. And I think in the lore of like Misty, like her sisters ran it, but they were doing something and she like took over or something along those lines. But like, how do you advance? You know,
Yeah.
like how do you, like who comes to you and is like, hey, we say you're kicking ass. You want to maybe become an Elite Four member?
Yeah. I
It'd
wonder.
be cool to have some more like information on like that process. I know that's like
I
such a small
agree.
detail in Pokemon, but again, like we want to piece together everything.
Yeah. Like we know how you become champion. You defeat everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's easy. Well, I mean, not easy, but it's like it speaks for itself. But how do you like become an Elite Four member? Like, do you just have to defeat the second leader, and if you can't defeat anymore, you assume
Yeah.
that position?
Dude, imagine I always want Pokemon games just to like lean more heavily into like simulation. Like more of a sim game. So I imagine like what if you get to a point in the Pokemon game where it's kind of considered post content where you can become an Elite Four member or something. So you have responsibilities to like, you know, maybe you're out adventuring and then you get a text on your Rotom phone and it's like, hey, you have this one battle, someone's ready to face you in the Elite Four, so you have to go there. I don't know, kind of random, but I was like, that'd be kind of
Honestly, that would be something cool
neat.
to introduce to like Pokemon Go. Is like, okay, you have to be, you know, this gym leader at this set time, say like 6 to 7 on a Tuesday.
Ooh,
and these
okay.
people, you'll have an amount of people that you have to defeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be like a cool aspect.
Can you
I think.
because I wish I played Pokemon Go more. I wish I was in a better area.
Yeah.
That made it more enjoyable for me. But do you have gym? Do you acquire gym badges for
No,
anything? Is there
no.
anything you can do?
Like you can control a gym, but it's like you just put your Pokemon in there. That's
Yeah.
it. It's not like it's very, very shitty.
Damn. Yeah, it would be cool if they had some way to do that.
Yeah. And
But
say
like,
if you
put
don't,
enough challenge where you like really feel like you're earning it, you know?
Yeah.
But that would be kind of cool.
yeah, like you say you would be able to like select your own hour on a specific day, but if you don't attend that, you're not the gym leader anymore, you know? You have an obligation to
Oh.
fulfill.
Damn, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, damn, I actually do have some shit to do. I have to attend this battle.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a gym leader.
Because
at the
as a
moment.
gym leader, you don't lose your position, but an Elite Four member would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, in
Yeah.
theory. In theory.
Yeah. I mean, because
I
obviously.
mean, that's obviously like way higher level than a gym
right.
leader.
Yeah. Which you both have responsibility, but that's like a bigger deal,
Yeah.
you know?
So yeah, Janine, his daughter, takes the position of the 5th gym and grants you the soul
Mhm.
badge for defeating her.
This is one of the many reasons why I love like the Pokemon TCG.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, again, I played these games years ago. As a kid, I probably didn't progress as far as you did, you know, beating the games and such.
But you know exactly who
But
Janine
I
is.
know exactly who all these people are just because I see them in the cards and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, but when you see Koga, like everyone knows Koga. But
Right.
when you see Koga and then you see Janine, you can kind of piece that
Oh,
together.
yeah.
Like, all right, they're related somehow,
she's
or
got,
a
like-
student of some, you know, some degree.
Like the ninja jumpsuit with
Yeah.
Koga's like spiky hair, but it's tied up in a bun.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
She's really cool. And
And also, I'm pretty sure Koga gets a Crobat in like the 2nd generation.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think you're absolutely right, which is dope because
Yeah.
Crobats are a boy, man. We love Crobat. And kind of a callback to one of our previous episodes, and maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but Koga, Benny, isn't there some relation there? Benny, the ninja?
I think so.
Yeah, because we had talked about it. It's been
Yeah,
a little while.
it's
It's
been a
been
little
some
while.
months since we've talked about it, but I think so because Benny
'Cause he
had
was a ninja.
Didn't he? He also had a Crobat, I think.
Oh yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, but he had the ninja attire.
Mm.
And I think he was originally from, because I think that was part of the lore we did. We did some digging there.
Or
He
wait,
was originally
no.
from the area that Koga is from in,
It was
in
Wally.
some of the other
I
games.
think it was Wally who was
It was Wally?
that he was, related to. Wally from Gen 3,
Oh,
the antagonist.
damn.
If you can even call him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe
that would've made
maybe
more sense to do.
They're from. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
All
Maybe
right, well,
maybe there is some
disregard
relation
that.
there either way.
Yeah, we can do some more when we reach Wally's game. We'll do some digging there. There's so much,
Yes.
but it's exciting.
So, now we have 5 badges.
All right, so let's see. I'm not even gonna look. We got the Boulder badge, the Cascade badge, the Thunder badge, Rainbow badge, Soul badge.
Yep.
Got it. I mean, those are pretty easy to remember, if I'm being honest. But
Here
dude,
we
we're
go.
kicking ass, man.
Yeah, dude. We got 5 fucking badges.
We've beat fucking Swole Boy. We beat Water Girl. We beat Lightning Lieutenant. We beat Flower Girl. We beat Ninja Boy.
Ninja Boy. Yeah, he's still a boy. He's still in the gym.
Yeah.
All right, Sabrina.
Robert's little crush.
The baddest of all.
Dude, she is a fucking baddie.
So what Pokemon does Sabrina have, Chris?
All right, so in Red and Blue, I'm not mad at this team.
No, it's good.
I'm not mad. And yeah, even the last one there, I like that that sprite. So Sabrina has an Alakazam, no surprise. That's a badass sprite. Mr. Mime sprite looks so derpy and so bad, and that sucks because Mr. Mime gets a lot of hate, but I honestly don't hate Mr. Mime. I like Mr. Mime, but that is a really derpy sprite. And if you don't know what we're talking about, if we're not able to put this up somehow, just look up like the Red and Blue Pokemon sprites, and you'll see all these like cool but like derpy images. So Sabrina has an Alakazam, a Mr. Mime, a Kadabra, and a Venomoth. And in Pokemon Yellow, she has an Abra, a Kadabra, and an Alakazam.
Did you just cast a spell on me?
I did. You were under my spell.
So clever. All right, so Sabrina is the gym leader of the Saffron City Gym, known as the master of psychic Pokemon. Physic Pokemon.
Physics, yeah, physics.
Sabrina is a slim young woman of medium height. She has long black hair with shorter layers around her face and fringe, and small purple eyes. She wears a red and black dress with yellow cuffs over black tights/leggings, white gloves, and a red and yellow knee-high boots. She hands out the Marsh badge to trainers who defeat her in battle.
That's
kind
weird.
Kind of a lame name, right?
Yeah.
Like she
you
should have
said
the
that?
Soul badge.
Right before you had read that, I seen that, and I was like,
Yeah.
Marsh badge? Like,
Yeah.
you're the psychic type? You should have the coolest sounding badge.
It
What
must
the
have been
hell?
like, remember that when they were switching shit around in the beta, they're like, oh fuck, we forgot to rename the badges.
Oh gosh, what the fuck is a marsh? They Google it and they're like, this makes no sense.
So yeah, she hands out the Marsh badge. Yeah. She possesses psychic abilities, appearing to have the ability to see into the future, and specializes in psychic type Pokemon. She has had psychic powers ever since she was a child, when she accidentally bent a spoon.
Dude, they really dropped the ball on this marsh badge.
Oh God.
Do you remember what it looks like? I just looked it up.
Semi.
Dude, it has to be the most boring
Yeah.
badge. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Losers. Multi-billion-dollar company.
Like, dude,
my ass.
like right here, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have the Boulder badge. That's, what you would
Makes
think it
sense.
looks like. The Cascade badge, pretty much a teardrop.
Yep.
Like, okay, fair. The Thunder badge, that looks dope. It's like a sun. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow badge, that's actually really cool too. It's like a flower, but each petal is a different color. Soul badge, that's a heart. I would have thought something different, but still cool. And then the Marsh badge, it's literally just like a gold coin.
Yeah. It looks like Luffy's hat from the top.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's many ways to put it, but that is one accurate way to put it.
Yeah. All right. So, when she accidentally bent a spoon, that's how, she was becoming of her power. She apparently dislikes battling, but is hard to beat because she can communicate with her Pokemon telepathically.
Oh, so that bond is much more easily established, that connection. So that's why she is such a good trainer and hard to beat. Very cool.
Indeed. Her fame has grown so much that even trainers living in the Sevi Islands have heard of her. And that's more of like a Gen 2 type thing.
All right, yeah, because again, we have Kanto, which is east of Johto.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the Sevi Islands are somewhere down here, you know? So.
Which I believe they were called
It's
like
pretty far
the
away.
Orange Islands in the anime,
Yeah,
something
the
like
Orange
that.
Islands, yeah. I think so.
So previously, there were 2 gyms in Saffron City, a fighting type gym and a psychic type gym. They competed against each other to determine which one would be the Indigo League's 6th Pokemon gym. Due to the type advantage that Saffron City's psychic type Pokemon had over the fighting gym's Pokemon, Saffron Gym easily won and became the official gym, thus turning it into the fighting dojo. Inside her gym, trainers must navigate warp tiles to find Sabrina hiding in the middle of her gym.
Can you imagine that being the gym leader and just like hating to battle? You're just like, I'm just so naturally good at this. Like,
I know.
I
She
gotta
couldn't
do
even
this.
lose because she was fighting fighting type Pokemon. She was like, fuck.
So that day you go to work and you're just fucking sitting in the middle of your gym, just waiting for trainers to pop up because they figured out, they solved the riddle. And you're just like, oh man, I really hope no one figures it out today.
Yeah.
Blue pops up. Wow, he really whooped my ass. Like, okay.
Pretty much.
Red pops up. Oh man, he whooped my ass too.
She was like, damn, two good trainers out of everybody else.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
I mean, that was pretty much Sabrina. Not a whole lot of lore surrounding her in, Gen 1.
But Sabrina is, again, all of these characters are very iconic.
Oh, yeah.
I think we hit on how iconic Brock and Misty are just because although they're gym leaders in the games, but
they're companions in the anime.
Yeah.
Although Sabrina's lore in the anime, I remember being really cool and in-depth.
Why didn't you get that information then?
It's the fucking anime, dude. We're talking about canon shit here. Cool canon.
What? I mean, I referenced the anime. Like, I think I did a pretty good job.
Hey, listen.
Were you too busy?
Yeah.
You know what? Next time
You know what I was doing?
What's that?
I don't know. I wasn't doing nothing. How about that?
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. You were fucking around. Guess what? You found out. Just kidding.
You got me. I'm sorry, guys.
No, but like Sabrina is also like super. Again, all of them iconic, but like Sabrina, come on.
Yeah, no, she's actually really cool.
Yeah.
All right, big boy Blaine, the burning motherfucker.
Big boy Blaine Daddy. Can I go over his Pokemon? I kinda like that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
What's old Blaney got?
Blaney has got a. Damn, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And you see his team in yellow?
Yeah.
I know there's only 3, but that's a fucking team right there, my guy. All right, so red, blue, green. It ain't bad. You know, he's starting off with the Arcanine, very strong. Love that sprite. He's got the Ponyta. He's got the Growlithe and Rapidash. So he's got the pre-evolutions, the evolutions of Ponyta and Growlithe. Well, the evolution lines of Ponyta and Growlithe.
Yeah.
Not bad. But in yellow, we get to him. So Ash, when he gets to Blaine, he's like, oh, fuck. Like, this is a team. Ash and Red have to go against Ninetales, Rapidash, and Arcanine in Pokemon Yellow. And I got to say, look at that Arcanine sprite. That is iconic.
Oh, yeah.
That stance right there.
Yep.
Like, that is, I think, even to this day, used for Arcanine.
To this day.
To this day. All right, so, yeah, Blaine, badass. He's got a stacked team.
Yeah.
Let's hear about him.
So for some reason, I was thinking he had a Magmar. I was just thinking about that. I was like, did he have a Magmar?
I guarantee
If
it's a card, like Blaine's Magmar. It could be a thing.
For sure. I'm sure it is, but it feels like one of those...
Like you've seen the art or something, like an illustration.
No, I feel like
of
I
Blaine
just like...
and Magmar.
I feel like I was playing the game and I fought a Magmar on his team. It's like a... what's that effect? The Mandela effect?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so continue on. I'm going to look up Blaine in every Pokemon game and see if I can find him with a Magmar.
All right. So, Blaine is the gym leader of Cinnabar Island's gym. He hands out the Volcano Badge to trainers who defeat him in battle. He is a highly intelligent man who specializes in Fire-type Pokemon. Blaine is an old man of medium height. He has a bald head, glasses, and a white mustache, slightly similar to Whiskers. He wears a white lab coat over a blue-collared shirt with a red tie that resembles a flame. He also wears a black belt with a silver buckle, dark green trousers, and gray/brown shoes. Blaine's title is the Hot-Headed Quizmaster. His strategy is to incinerate challengers with his rough and ready Fire-type Pokemon. To reach Blaine, challengers have to answer a series of quiz questions about Pokemon. Blaine only takes off his sunglasses when thinking up new quiz questions. So, passionate for his age, Blaine has high hopes in his abilities and not the type to be discouraged easily. Proving his skill is what Blaine desires most. Blaine's tenacity lights a flame in his heart, always bearing a smile on his face to highlight his spirit. When he once got lost in a treacherous, freezing mountain range, he was guided out of the mountains by Moltres. Apparently, this is what inspired him to be a Fire-type trainer. Blaine is a resident of Cinnabar Island and has lived there since before the Cinnabar lab had been built. He is good friends with Mr. Fuji, a resident of Lavender Town who gives you the Pokeflute, and used to do Pokemon research with him. So
that's a cool origin story.
It is actually really fucking cool.
The whole Moltres part.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick. So I did not have to look long. I did not have to look long to find the answer to what you were remembering.
Let me guess. Fire red and leaf green.
No, gold, silver, and crystal.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Magcargo, Magmar, and Rapidash was his team in gold, silver, and crystal. You know, let's take a second, look at his Pokemon. So Fire red and leaf green are pretty. They stay pretty canon with how red, blue, and green were.
Yeah,
so
that's
his
what I was
team's
thinking.
exactly the same in Fire red and leaf green. Just better sprites. We now have GBA sprites. The same with Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It's like the same team as the OGs, Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
Just better sprites. In Black 2 and White 2, the Fire type tournament, World Leaders tournament, because I guess he shows up there, which is always cool to see. He has Arcanine, Ninetales, a Charizard, a Magmortar. So that Magmar has evolved. Flareon and Rotom. I guess the fire Rotom. So Rotom is always an electric type, right?
I think it's always
depending on
ghost.
the type. Because this Rotom is electric fire.
Or maybe it is always electric. Yeah, that makes sense because he's like a current.
Is it the... I'm trying to think what Rotom this is. Again, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
What does it look like?
Is it a microwave?
Oh, yeah.
Is that maybe what I'm seeing? Or an
oven?
oven?
It's oven.
Oh, it's an oven.
Microwave is just electric, maybe?
Oh, okay. I just couldn't tell from the sprite. I was like, maybe that's an oven, maybe that's a microwave. So the Kanto Gym Leader Tournament in the same game, Black 2 and White 2, is Arcanine, Ninetales, Charizard, Magmortar, Flareon, and Rapidash. When he in the gym battle in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, he has Magmar. That was probably the most recent time we've battled him. That's what it was. I guarantee that's what it was. So yeah, in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, he does have a Magmar, and that's his first Pokemon. Rapidash, Ninetales, and Arcanine. In the rematch, he has all of those Pokemon, but with a Flareon added in. And like I said, with the stadium games, you always see that diversity.
Yeah.
I love it. So in the first stadium game, he has Rapidash, Arcanine, Charizard, Magmar, but then kind of throws a curveball at you with Clefable and Kangaskhan. And then for round 2...
That is a curveball.
For round 2, the curveball comes in the form of Perfection as Chansey. Chansey, Tangela, and Parasect. Parasect. Fucking the aggressive bitch from Legends Arceus.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow. In Stadium 2, he throws an octillery at you. That's
What?
a curveball. No one's seen that one coming.
Sheesh.
Dude, for round 2 in Stadium 2, Arcanine, Vileplume, Clefable, Chansey, Mr. Mime, and Moltres. So he finally got with that Moltres that leading him out. He found him. He's like, hey, you're on my
He
team.
found God.
Yeah, he's like, you're on my team. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool to like look at the Pokemon that they've had throughout the games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Blaine.
Old Blaney boy. Now we
So-
have 7 badges.
So I missed a little bit when I was looking for his Pokemon. But is Blaine what's his character like? Because I always thought Blaine was like a bad guy.
No, really?
Yeah, I think
no
something
way.
about I remember seeing his artwork, his sprite artwork in
He does-
Stadium, and I think it was just when I seen it, I was like, oh, this is a bad guy.
He looks intimidating just because I guess his glasses and his mustache. He has that what's the dude? He looks like Dr. Eggman if he was like human form.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's like I guess I keep to yourself type of guy, but he's really into research and learning.
Well,
That's his whole shtick.
and plus, when you say he was friends with Mr. Fuji,
Yeah.
he can't be a bad guy.
Yeah, no, they
know.
grew up together, just I guess shooting ideas back and forth and just learning together and
Gotcha.
researching. Yeah,
Hmm.
because there is deeper lore to that, but it's down the road type shit.
Oh, gotcha. So, we got the volcano badge.
We have the volcano badge. We have the
So-
marsh badge. We have the soul badge. We have
Yes.
the rainbow badge. Cascade badge. The lightning badge. What is it called?
Thunder,
Thunder badge.
Cascade, and then the
Rock. Boulder.
rock badge.
Rock on.
Rock on. But yes, all right. So, damn,
We're 1 gym away.
we're 1 gym away. Hell yeah. Whoa, wait a second.
Huh?
I just got to this 8th gym, and this guy looks hella familiar.
Who are you?
Why? I'm Giovanni. Oh my gosh. In this image, he has a Mewtwo. What?
Yeah, dude.
Oh gosh. The image, because in our notes, we found these really cool,
Pokemon Adventures.
Pokemon Adventures, illustrations. And in this
Yeah.
one for Giovanni, he has a Mewtwo. And
Which,
I'm
by
like,
the
what
way,
fuck?
if you don't know, Pokemon or Mewtwo in Pokemon Adventures has a massive fucking spoon, which I never knew, and I am the biggest fucking Mewtwo fan.
Well,
It's so strange.
Did you look more into it?
I googled it. Yeah.
That's
it's
just something he has.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the manga, he just has a spoon.
Yes. It's fucking weird.
I would love to know more there.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, find out more.
Got to be some
and update
Giovanni
us.
shit.
Yeah, seriously. So Giovanni is the primary antagonist of the games taking place in Kanto, with being the former head of Team Rocket, who served as the secretive gym leader of Viridian City's gym. Hence my little play I was putting on
Oh my
early
God.
on. Who is this guy? We've come across him before. He hands out the Earth Badge to trainers who defeat him in battle, and as a gym leader, he specializes in ground-type Pokemon, but his master plan includes collecting rare Pokemon of all types. Giovanni is likely based on the boss of a Yakuza faction, possibly more on the Bakuto factions, possibly more on the Bakuto factions than others, considering Team Rocket's former ownership of the Celadon Game Corner.
Mm.
Outside of Japan, this reference is localized, making him more akin to a mafia boss, especially considering his English name being Italian in origin.
I would definitely say Mafia.
Giovanni.
I think it makes more sense.
Yeah. But what's interesting is in the games, when Giovanni is beat, he disbands Team Rocket and feels that he can't face him, making one assume that maybe he felt some embarrassment from getting beat by a kid. But obviously, this wasn't his first loss from someone that age, as Blue had recently defeated him as well. What Pokemon Origins clears up for us as its mini animated series based on the games is that due to Red fighting Giovanni as the enemy of all Pokemon and not a gym leader, because in Pokemon Origins he kind of states that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm fighting you as an enemy to all Pokemon. Like we are all the Pokemon. You are the enemy to all of us. Because he doesn't want to fight him as like a gym leader.
Yeah.
So due to Red fighting Giovanni as the enemy of all Pokemon and not a gym leader, Giovanni decides to go all out using his strongest Pokemon. This excites Giovanni, a feeling he hasn't felt in a while during a battle. And after watching Red's pose and the way he battles, he remembers his childhood passion for Pokemon and battling and wonders how he ever got to this point, seeing Pokemon as just business tools. After this heated battle and awakening, Giovanni then decides to disband Team Rocket and disappear, finding a new path for himself and his Pokemon. So I really liked that, how, again, in the games, it doesn't really tell you too much, but when you see that Origins, which again is based on the games, it fleshes that out a lot more, that he was just like inspired by Red and his connection to his Pokemon and his pose, and you could just see his fighting spirit and just passion for it. And Giovanni was like, I'm going all out. I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the passion I had. Like, how did I ever lose this?
But then your little baby got his ego hurt.
Yeah. So then he was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to be about this anymore. And then disbands Team Rocket.
Yeah. And it's cool in Yellow. I remember you saying this earlier. He has a Persian, but he does not in Red and Blue.
Yes.
Which is very true to the anime.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, these games probably painted a little differently, but whenever you see, like, even in the cards, whenever you see an illustration, besides this one with Mewtwo and a spoon, whenever you see an illustration of Giovanni, it's always with a Persian. In the anime, it's always Giovanni sitting down, the Persian, like, leaning on him or beside him.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think Persian is like that partner Pokemon, but in these games you see like Rhyhorn a lot throughout his team, Rhydon a lot. But yeah, no, that's Giovanni. So we have all 8 badges. We've we kind of glance over it. But within the game, you do encounter Team Rocket, and I think it's at the like Silphco building where you really encounter them, and you fight Giovanni. But it's not till this battle here to where you beat him, and then he decides to disband Team Rocket, I believe.
Yes.
But hey, we've got the Earth badge. We've got the Earth badge. We've got the Volcano badge. We've got the Marsh badge. We got the Rainbow. Soul badge. We got the Rainbow badge. We got the Thunder badge, Cascade, and the Boulder badge. We have all 8 badges.
And now, there's only one thing left to do.
Battle the Elite Four?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time for the Elite Four. It's time to really
going on to do the Elite Four. So, Chris, who's first in the Elite Four?
So, we have all 8 badges. We have a pretty stacked team at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you've been grinding a little bit because...
This is it, dude. We've been down Victory Road. We are here.
Yeah, seriously. As I stated before, like, if you know what you're doing, like grinding and stuff, like, these games aren't, like, hard, but these are some of the early games, and the early games are much harder than the modern games. So you still have to, like, know what you're doing to have success and beat the Elite Four.
Yeah.
So,
and what differs the gyms from the Elite Four is there is no Poke Center to run to.
yeah, that is true.
You can only rely on the items that you have to heal your Pokemon.
Yeah, because you have to beat all 4.
Yeah. In succession.
Back to back. Yeah, in succession. So we've reached the Elite Four, and our first trainer that we face is Lorelei. Lorelei is an Ice-type trainer and the first trainer of the Kanto Elite Four. She is known for her logical, calculated, and cool style of battling, with Lapras being her partner Pokemon. A Pokemon she has had since she was a child. In Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, it is revealed that Lorelei grew up on 4 Island, and although she is confident and professional, she loves to collect stuffed Pokemon dolls, so she can be a child at heart. Lorelei's Pokemon party throughout the games consists of Dugong, Cloyster, Slowbro, Jinx, and Lapras, but in Pokemon Stadium, Articuno is also added to her her party, which I just thought was interesting.
No,
Always
that
love
is.
to see that. I love when like trainers are depicted as having like these legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, Pokemon. So Lorelei really pulls off the. As you see, she pulls off the sexy librarian look. And I put here, this is like a little quote I made. Most boys grow up crushing on Misty, only to grow up and fall in love with Lorelei.
Baddie alert.
Baddie. So yeah, no, Lorelei is a baddie. And again, in the anime, her name is Prima, and she's a woman. She's a grown woman. She is a baddie, though. She is that epitome of like the sexy librarian. And again, this is someone that Misty idolized and wants to be just like. Maybe, although she's an ice type trainer, she has a lot of water type Pokemon, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. And her being like a Pokemon master.
True.
So once you defeat her, you then have to face Bruno.
We've already beat Lorelei?
We beat Lorelei.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Raichu, am I right?
Yeah. So now we have Bruno. Bruno is a fighting type trainer and the second member of the Kanto Elite Four. He raises fighting type Pokemon and believes that this is best done by living and training with them, as this is quite evident in his physique. He joined the Elite Four out of a desire to challenge the best trainers, and although he trains fighting type Pokemon, he also commonly uses Onix on his team, but his strongest Pokemon being his signature partner, Machamp.
You think they're fucking like bench pressing together? Like, come on, Machamp.
Yeah. One more. I ain't touching the bar. That was all you.
Giving us Machamp creatine.
Maybe. A quick note about Bruno. And I thought this was just kind of cool. And you see a lot more of like quirky stuff like this in the manga. But in the Pokemon Adventures manga, Bruno attaches his Pokeballs to the ends of his nunchucks. The force of him using the weapon causes his Pokemon to be released at high speeds, giving him the advantage in battles. He also has a unique Hitmonlee with arms as flexible as its legs, something previously thought to be impossible.
Wow.
And for the longest time, I did not know that Hitmonlee's legs acted as like springs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, we've defeated Lorelei. We've now defeated Bruno. So that leaves...
That's nuts.
We've got a pretty stacked team.
Oh, yeah.
No, again, this is us. We're grinding.
Yeah. No, dude.
We've been grinding. We've got potions. We're healing, dude.
There's
we're
no
good.
match. No match for us.
Yeah.
So now we move on to Agatha. What is she sporting? What she got?
So Agatha.
What's in them balls?
What you got in them balls, Granny? So Agatha has on her team, no surprise, a Gengar, a Golbat, a Haunter.
That Golbat looks like it's in italics.
Yeah, seriously. A Haunter, an Arbok, and another Gengar. All very cool sprites.
Mm-hmm.
And in yellow, she has a Gengar, a Golbat. Okay, so the same party.
The exact same
party. Just
so they were like,
sprites.
you know what? We'll keep it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, in the anime, let's have her keep the same party.
Yeah. So Agatha is the third trainer of the Kanto Elite Four, and the oldest such trainer known to date. As such, she serves as an inspiration for senior Pokemon trainers all around the region. She uses Ghost-type Pokemon and other Pokemon with horrifying appearances. She has a very short temper, though. Agatha and Professor Oak were once friendly rivals in their youth. However, their relationship has grown bitter and strained over the years because Agatha believes he was too weak to continue competing. The mobile app Pokémon Masters. Download today.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. The mobile app Pokémon Masters EX further dives into this lore. I just thought this was really cool, so I had to add it.
Oh, yeah.
Although it may not be canon. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they put in there, if it's canon or not.
I'm willing to wager this is canon.
So it dives into this lore, stating that Agatha explains how she and Oak met. Oak was always friendly and open when he was young and would talk to Agatha and try and help her. Though he was only trying to be nice, it still annoyed Agatha because she wanted to be left alone. Agatha would battle Oak to try and get him to go away, but he was always better than her. And so she would battle him again and again. Eventually, the time they spent together began to mean a lot to Agatha. As a result, when Oak got the idea to invent the Pokédex and subsequently stopped battling, Agatha felt betrayed. And I should have prefaced with this. She is an old woman who has short blonde hair. She wears a white apron on top of a long violet sleeveless dress with black shoes. She also wears a white shirt while carrying a brown cane, which further down the road, she gets a cane with like a Gengar top, which is really fucking cool. Professor Oak told Red he learned to accept Pokemon as equals. And when he told Agatha, she told him he was crazy. Oak also tells the player that after not befriending her Pokemon, she became a twisted old woman who hated children and never had friends. So
that's so like
she was just like, nah, I never had anything to do with Oak.
Yeah, she's twisted. And she hates children.
Yeah.
She never had any friends. Me? We were never friends.
So yeah, Agatha is a very interesting character.
And this little bit I added, it kind of goes over that story that you just went over, but it adds a little to the end.
Let's hear it.
So let me preface with this. When you start these games, other than like the very first menu, what you see is like 5 to 10 seconds of a Pokemon battle going on between Nidorino and Gengar. And for a while, like, this was like a mystery to people because, again, we're always wanting like to connect the dots here.
Yeah.
You know, that could have just been two random Pokemon they chose to have battling each other to like introduce into Pokemon. But maybe there's more to that. Earlier, when we were discussing Professor Oak, we had mentioned that his partner Pokemon is Nidorino.
Right.
And I would wager that, like, not a lot of people know that. Like, I didn't know that. But yes, Professor Oak's partner Pokemon is Nidorino. So again, I am going to be stating some of that Masters EX stuff you had just said, but there's a little bit of extra stuff towards the end. So, Professor Oak was a childhood friend of Agatha. They remained good friends and top-class Pokemon trainers until Oak stopped battling and became interested in Pokemon research. However, Oak still affiliates with the Pokemon League as an advisor. Oak was always friendly and open when he was younger and would talk to Agatha and try to help her. Though he was only trying to be nice, it still annoyed her because she wanted to be left alone. Agatha would battle Oak in an attempt to make him go away, but he always bested her, backfiring her plan, resulting in her wanting rematch after rematch. Eventually, the time they spent together began to mean a lot to Agatha, and as a result, when Oak got the idea to invent the Pokédex, he subsequently, that's how you pronounce that,
Fuck
Robert.
you.
He subsequently stopped battling, leaving Agatha feeling betrayed. So again, as we mentioned earlier, Agatha is a ghost-type trainer for the Elite Four, and is best known for her partner Pokemon Gengar. Professor Oak's partner Pokemon is Nidorino. In the very beginning of the game, we see the Gengar versus Nidorino. Could the Pokemon Red and Blue intro battle between Nidorino and Gengar be a reference to Professor Oak and Agatha? to some extent.
It has to be.
Like, I seen that, and I was kind of, like, piecing this together myself, and I was, like, trying to do some research, and there really wasn't, like, much out there. I'm not saying, like, oh, man, I'm the first to figure this out or anything, because I'm definitely not. But, like, that is super interesting. Like, I wonder if originally they had more plans there to, like, flesh out that relationship between the two.
Yeah.
And they had this, like, intro battle, but maybe things were scrapped, but they're like, hey, let's just go ahead and leave the intro battle.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, because if you think about it, although I don't know if in Gen 1 this is a thing, but Nidorino, being a normal type Pokemon, normal poison, I think, will have mostly normal type moves. You know, like Mega Horn or some shit. And then Agatha having the Gengar, Ghost Poison. But if those two were to face...
Gengar's Ghost Poison?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, shit. He's always been Ghost Poison?
Well, I don't know in this game.
Well, in
Definitely
this game, it says Ghost Poison.
Okay,
but
then yeah. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
even now, Gengar's Ghost Poison.
Yes, it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's like another Mandela effect. It's like, oh, I always thought it was Ghost.
I thought he was just Ghost.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, he's literally a fucking ghost, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
But with that being said, most of the moves that a Nidorino would hit on a Gengar would not affect it.
Would not affect.
But in Gen 1, I don't know if that's the case. I cannot remember. But in any gen past that point, for sure. But if Oak's besting her, if that's a 1v1 and just those Pokemon, Agatha has that all day.
Right, right.
And obviously it's a fucking Gengar.
Yeah.
But I assume they would use more Pokemon than just those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. That's a really neat fact.
Yeah, interesting theory there that maybe there is more to that.
It's a fact.
Oh, okay. It's a very interesting fact there that it's solved. Well, that's what it's about, y'all. In case you're wondering, that's what it is. That's somehow symbolizes Oak's and Agatha's relationship.
I feel like it has to. Like, there was no reason those two Pokemon should be facing each other otherwise.
If not, it is just, like, really random.
Yeah. All right. We've beat Agatha. We've beat Bruno. And we've beat Lorelei.
Do we have enough potions for Lance?
It's going to be close.
Oh, dude. It's literally down to our last potion.
Yeah.
And, oh, man. Luckily, all our Pokemon are healed.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Lance. What's he have?
In my illustration, he has a Pokemon we have not come across yet. He has a Tyranitar. How did he get this?
Fuck you.
All right, so Lance, in red, blue, green, and yellow, we have a Gyarados, solid. We have 2 Dragonairs.
Very interesting.
An Aerodactyl. And then, he had to save the best for last. Iconic. Lance's Dragonite.
Yep, can only be at leveled at 55 or 65. I want to say 65. Right?
Oh, that's when it evolves?
I can't remember exactly. I think it differs in some of the games, but yeah, it's like, I know that's definitely the last Pokemon in this game to evolve.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But so worth it,
I want to say 55 though, because I want to say in this fight, the Dragonairs are like lower than that, and the Dragonite might be like level 56 or something.
They made you work for that pseudo.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And at this point, like, was Dragonite like a pseudo legendary, or is that not established till like later on? Like what pseudo legendaries are?
Yeah, I don't know if there's ever any mention of it. Probably later down the line, I would assume.
Oh, okay.
All right. So Lance. He is the 4th and final member of the Kanto Elite Four. Lance is a tall, thin man with a bright scarlet, red spiked hair, pale skin, and dark eyes. He wears a medieval-looking navy blue tunic with an red-orange trim, a brown belt around his waist, and large black boots with orange 2 rings around the top of each boot. I don't know why I worded it that way. Fucking silly me.
Yeah, for someone who proofread all of this.
Fuck you.
Very, very silly.
The cuffs of his long sleeves are black with orange zigzagging trim, separating the cuff from the navy blue part of the sleeve. He sports a long flowing cape around his neck, which is black on the outside and crimson red on the inside. He looks like a fucking main character.
All that to say, yeah, he has protagonist energy.
Yeah,
He is the hero.
for sure. So, he must be defeated before facing Blue, the Pokemon League champion. Yeah, you thought that was it? No,
What?
there's one more.
But we're out of potions.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
He raises Dragon-type Pokemon
Good thing Blue's a cuck.
and Pokemon that are dragon-like in appearance, which are both hard to catch and raise, and prefers the superiority of Dragon-type Pokemon, believing them to be virtually indestructible. I mean, it's true. Lance is a very noble and respectful person. He is serious about his training, and he will not hold back his strength when it comes to battling any challengers. He's an expert at training Dragon-type Pokemon and is extremely skilled at battling. He believes that his inner strength lies in his ability to professionally train dragons, and he believes deeply in his Pokemon, that they are strong and superior. Despite this, he is a good sport and will not become angry if he loses to the player character. Red, obviously. Not fucking ass. But will instead gracefully accept defeat and will happily congratulate them on defeating the Elite Four and becoming the new champion.
After beating Blue.
Yep. Known as a cool and heroic trainer, Lance has a large fan following and seems to like capes, as he is often seen buying identical capes at the Celadon department store. Obviously, more main character lore.
Right.
You sport the same fucking outfit, dude?
Yes. And if you are listening to this and feeling inspired or played the games and felt inspired to do the same, please don't. It will not translate the same in the real life. You wearing capes. That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, yeah.
That
it definitely
pretty
doesn't.
cringe.
Yeah. Lance's grandfather is the elder of a famous clan of Dragon Masters. And by the way, his cousin is Claire.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yep.
That's cool as shit.
Both dragon trainers.
Fuck yeah. And then, I don't know if you knew this, their cousin is Zinnia. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. There's probably some
all
relation.
Dragon Masters.
Yeah. So, there we have it. We defeated the Elite Four. And then we went and beat the fuck out of Blue because he had no chance.
Yeah. So
we were out of potions. We just fucking swept him under the rug, dude.
When Robert said that we beat Blue the first time and we let him win the second time, that was a lie. We were just trying to be humble. We swept the floor with him.
Sorry, bud.
We beat his ass.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. No chance.
All right.
But yeah, we became the Pokemon champion right in the nick of time. Professor Oak got there, and he was like, congratulated you, and was like, you could have cared for your Pokemon a little bit better, Blue. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Even though he meant like, you fucking suck, dude.
Yeah.
How did you get this far?
Right. Exactly. But yeah, that's the end of the game.
That is the end of the game.
Did you want to go? Were you saving these neat facts?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know.
We're going over them.
Okay, let's do it.
Psych! You gotta tune into the next one.
Are you gonna save it?
I am.
Oh, okay. So, are we still doing the showdown?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you need to turn on the TV for that?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Is there going to be some way that you were able to show this on the episode?
Yeah, I'm gonna record it.
Oh, okay. So before we get into the showdown, that was a breakdown of what most Pokemon games consist of. You have your protagonist, your rival, the professor, the gym leaders, and the Elite Four. So again, there's so much there that we didn't go over. We just wanted to set the foundation of like who these people are in Gen 1, in the Kanto region specifically.
Yeah.
This will be a 2-part for Kanto. So again, we've established the main characters, the main cast, the ensemble of characters, In the next episode, we will dig deeper into like the lore of Kanto.
Exactly. This was just an easier way to preface, so that if you do listen to the next episode and you did listen to this episode, it would be easier to follow with just the names and, what's going on. But yeah, that was...
Because again, as we stated in the beginning, Kanto is a region filled with culture and a rich history of creating Pokemon with technology, as many researchers have had great success in creating life in Kanto in the form of Pokemon such as Mewtwo and Porygon. Again, that's a big part of Kanto's culture. So again, we'll be going more into like that type of lore, digging into like that type of culture, as well as just the different Pokemon. We've gone over, obviously a lot of the Pokemon that you find in Gen 1, but there's a lot of lore there. Again, we've discussed Porygon in past episodes, but originally this is where it started,
right,
with Porygon. So like there's still a lot for us to dig into. But hey, we have laid out the foundation. So now that leaves the Pokemon Showdown. It's me, Red, versus Robert Blue for the championship.
So we're gonna fight each other with Gen 1 Pokemon only.
Yep. And I am a real Pokemon trainer, so I'm just choosing my favorites.
Yeah.
There is no strategy to my choice here other than these are the Pokemon I like. I don't know what Robert's strategy is, but we will see how it translates.
I guess we'll see.
And I'm sure everything I know about type matchups, which is very limited, will like leave my mind as we battle.
You poor guy.
Oh, he's got a fire type. What do I do? What type of Pokemon do I use?
You're going
Psych,
down,
surf.
sucker. Oh.
Just kidding. So I went with the sprite art. My avatar is in from Pokemon Black and White. And who are you?
I'm Claire, the Dragon Master.
Is that Lance's cousin?
That is Lance's cousin, dude.
Whoa. All right, so I threw out a Chansey. You threw out Alakazam. All right, let's see.
What are you gonna do here, buddy?
Yeah.
So. Ooh. You got a Chansey? I just threw out him a champ.
Oh, you switched? Pussy! Pussy!
Damn right I switched.
Pussy boy!
And I bet you're gonna switch now. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. That ain't good. Just got hit with a blizzard.
Oh! Get dropped.
What? Oh my god. This Chansey's strong as hell. Was I saying Blissey? Did I say Blissey?
I think so.
Holy hell, dude.
So I just used soft boiled and healed myself.
Later, dude.
What did you do?
I'm gone.
Did you dig?
Maybe. Yo, this song's a bop. Bro. Oh man, that hurts. Dude just keeps fucking blizzarding me. Oh, soft boiled. Fire blast, interesting.
I just needed a little bit.
Okay. Okay, what do I do here? Send out an Alakazam. Banger. Chansey down.
No. How can this be?
You took out my champ. I took out your Chansey.
All right, let's
5v5 at this point.
I'm throwing out Starmie.
Oof. Okay.
Oh my
I send out a Raichu. Sorry, I had to do it to him. What's Starmie gonna do? Starmie a little hesitant. Oh my god, a Hydro Pump? You missed, sucker!
Oh.
Silly, silly boy. Oof.
Raichu is fly?
Raichu flies.
What is this game?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why he can learn that. Oh, you would.
Did it miss?
What? It missed? Ooh. Not the crit.
Get
with the
fucked,
Hydro
dude. Get
Pump.
fucked.
Oh, man.
Got him.
That's
Got him.
devastating.
Ooh, I love that spray.
So, Raichu's dead. I have an Executor. What do I do? What do I do? This isn't good, man. Okay. You hit me with the Psychic. I hit you with the Mega Drain. Thunderbolt. Okay. Hit you with another Mega Drain. Steadily healing. Okay, recover.
Playing the
Very-
long game here.
Very interesting. Got hit with Psychic. Seems that Sleep Powder missed.
What is the chance on the sleep powder?
I don't know. It's got to be shit. Maybe like
Yeah.
60%.
I think it's usually low with the ones that would like kind of put you to sleep.
Dude just keeps hitting me with Psychic.
Ooh,
Oh
you
my
got a
god.
crit on that one. You
I
got
got
a
a
crit.
crit with the Mega Drain. Starmie goes down. It's super effective. Oof.
Does that look familiar to you, player? You recognize that one?
That's a big boy right there. Can't even lie. Fuck, dude. This Sleep Powder's ass.
I'm getting a little sleepy.
Yeah, that Executor down. That was a cool sound.
Yeah, that was. All right, so you.
Machamp down, Executor down, Raichu down.
Oh, your Alakazam is still alive. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Attacking with that pussy.
Nice, nice, very nice. Okay.
Damn.
Ooh, the Thunderbolt.
Oh yeah.
The one-hitter quitter.
One hitter quitter on the Dragonite with a Blizzard.
All right, let's. Okay, okay.
What will he do next?
This is one of my favorites. Clefable.
Okay.
And we're going with. Ooh. Ugh. Ah.
You got me with the
The
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. So you're down to 2 Pokemon. I have 3.
Indeed.
Still anyone's game. Easily anyone's game.
Oh man. This ain't good, bro.
All right, the Alakazam is back.
What's Clefable gonna do?
Okay.
Damn, Seismic Toss his ass. So, Seismic Toss on both of us. Didn't do shit. I hit you with a Thunder Wave. You hit me with a counter. You are paralyzed. You thought I was using a physical attack.
Oh, that only works on physical.
Well, I think it's something different in this game. I can't remember exactly what it does. I think it's on a fighting type move or normal type.
Oh, maybe.
Oh my god.
Counter has a lot. There's like a paragraph.
I just
counter.
missed 100% accuracy on you. There's only a 1 in 256 chance of that happening.
Hold on, what move was it?
A sidekick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Oh, was it just
All right.
delayed?
No, I used it again.
Oh.
It says here in Gen 1, moves with 100% accuracy can still miss 1 out of 256 of the time. That's fucking nuts.
All right, let's go.
Well, Clefable down.
All right, bring out my other big girl.
God damn,
My
dude.
other big girl. Let's go, girl.
Ain't no
Get it.
fucking way, dog.
Get it. Oh, what was... No!
Recover. Take this. Take this, you bastard.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. It all comes down to this.
My speed. No.
Oh ho ho. Okay, Clefable down. Vileplume is all that is left, Chris. How will you recover? Or how will I recover?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
Ah. No, that was barely anything.
Here, I'll give you a chance.
Good night.
No fucking way it hit! Oh no!
Gosh. I'm at least going to take this bitch out.
Oh no. Good luck. You can't take me out.
Oh my gosh, a hyper beam? That's all it did?
It's because your attack's trash.
Foul plume.
Oh yeah. Luckily I'm still asleep though, but you still have to recharge.
Yeah. Oh, that bitch woke up.
Yeah.
Damn. I had him in the early game.
It looks
But
like
Robert's late game is hard to beat. Damn, that was turn 38?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Claire wins.
Claire wins.
Victorious. Didn't
You're
even
the
have a
champion.
dragon. But I beat the
That
dragon.
is true. That is true. You did beat the dragon. So, yeah, I did pretty solid with those first 3, but those last 3, they got me.
Indeed.
Chansey, really proud of you. Starmie, you kicked ass. Dragonite, you're that guy. But Clefable, Wigglytuff, and Vileplume, we're going to hit the gym.
Sorry.
I'm putting that experience share on you bitches.
They're already maxed out.
I know. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But GG, Chris. GG. That was actually very close.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Honestly, I did better than I thought I would do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that first half got me. I was like, oh,
Those
yeah,
fuckers are tanky.
fucking-
You had 3 tanky ass Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I forget that Seismic Toss, I think, was different in Gen 1.
Yeah, I think it said it does like damage equal to like the level of your Pokemon or something like that. That may have been Seismic Toss. It was either that or like Body Slam that did that.
I think it was Seismic Toss, which actually sounds right. But maybe it did something different in the other games. I can't remember. Either way.
But
There we have it.
you got me.
Episode 1 of Season 2, episode 53.
Yeah, part 1
Of the
of
hardcore.
Kanto lore. So I think we've discussed, and we can definitely say that the next episode will be part 2.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we've got some research to do, and we'll get some good juicy lore for y'all for next week.
Oh, yeah. Stick around. Find out. And if you're listening to this at a later date when it's already released, go listen to that episode.
Yeah. And if that's the case and you want to start from the beginning, we have a Pokemon Origins episode
Yes.
and then a Pokemon like Legends Arceus. Well, we have multiple of those, but a Hisuian region, which technically kind of takes place before, like all those, what happens in that game takes place before the events of Kanto. So
Indeed.
if you chronologically want to kind of watch that
Pretty
order,
much.
Origins, Hisui, and then this episode here, along with next week's part 2. So,
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.
Yep. Like, subscribe, rate us on Spotify. Here we go.
Fucking Marsh badge, dude. Can't get over that.
Can you believe that?
Fucking
Should have been
Sabrina,
Soul Badge,
the
dude.
Marsh badge. And like the look of it. Like it doesn't even reflect anything about like psychic. I don't know. It could have like reflected a bent spoon or something. I don't know.